What is up, YouTube? It is your boy 5Kip here, back again with another agent tutorial, and today I'm going to be going over Sage, who is one of the most useful agents in the entire game of Valorant, in my opinion. I think she is always a great choice, no matter what side, no matter what map, no matter who everyone else is choosing. Sage is always a safe option that's always going to be able to benefit your team. So first we're going to go through her abilities, as usual. So the first ability that Sage has is called the Barrier Orb. So basically, she has this huge wall. I'll show you guys right here real quick. She creates this wall. It is the only wall that any character places that is actually, like, you can't walk through. You have to shoot through it if you really want to, or you can knife through it. But it takes a while. It does decay over time. I'm not exactly sure the exact time it decays over, but this is one of the most useful abilities in the game if you use it correctly. If you're on attacker side and you guys take a site, you can just block off one entrance to the site, so you and your teammates can just completely cut off one angle. You have to watch until you hear them. You can hear the wall break very clearly. And then on defender side, there's a lot of cheeky boosts you can do that I'll show you throughout this video. There's other things you can do, just to block off a site entirely, so you guys can just focus. Like if you're on Haven, you can just block off C site and just focus on B and A, and then if you hear the wall break, you can just start the rotates towards C. It is a little tricky to get used to put it in the perfect places, whether you can use it for a lot of boosts also that are very nice that I'll show. But if you right click and turn your mouse, it will rotate the wall for you if you just move your mouse on your mouse pad. Or what you can do is you can just, for me, it's my mouse button forward, but if you just click it, it just rotates it a full 90 degrees for you. So I think that's pretty useful. This is normally all you really need to use. You don't normally need to do your self rotations most of the time. Just the mouse button will work for you. Now we're going to go into the second ability for Sage, which is her slow orb. This is another insanely useful ability. Basically, she'll throw down this orb. It'll bounce, hit the wall, and bounce up, and it creates this these blue crystals on the ground that when you walk, as you can see, you go extremely slow. Look how much, we'll run up to one. This is just running versus going through this. Major difference. And as you can hear, every time someone's walking it sounds very clearly, so it's very easy to hear if there's an enemy walking through it, so you'll know if they're within the slow orb. But the slow orb's very good to either just kind of trap people, either make it so people have to slow down their pushing through, because no one's going to push through it, because then you can hear it and people know where you're coming from. So I just think it's a very useful ability to either slow down enemies from pushing a certain angle, if you know they're going to push somewhere, you throw it, slow them down, or just to hold off someone or get them stuck within a corner maybe. The next ability is Sage's signature ability, which is her healing orb. Another insanely useful ability. So what it does is that as you're playing Sage on the map, you are always able to see all of your teammates' health. Whenever you can see a teammate in person, like if this bot was my teammate right here, I'd be able to heal him right here. But so you have to be able to see your teammate. You can just press E and left click on the teammate. They'll get lit up in a little light blue around their chest. You can also use the healing orb on yourself by just right clicking it. However, the one negative about the healing orb is it doesn't replace shields at all. So even if you lose your shields, it doesn't make a difference. The healing orb will only take you back up to 100 health. So you gotta remember that it won't replenish your shields, it just replenishes your health. So that's the one caveat to it that you gotta be aware of. You know, it's very useful. You can always, it just helps people will go down to one shot, you can just heal them, they'll go back up to 100. It just helps everyone on the team. She's the only character in the game that can do that. There is characters like Phoenix who can use some of his own abilities to heal himself, but Sage is the only one that can heal every single one of her teammates alongside herself. And then we're gonna move on to Sage's ultimate now, which is Resurrection, which it's an ultimate that doesn't truly honestly help herself directly, but it really does if you use it in the best way you possibly can. So obviously Resurrection, it sounds like what it sounds like. You click your ult, you have to find one of your dead teammates' bodies. You have to get fairly close. I'd say you probably have to be at least this close to get to the body, and then you just left click and it will resurrect them. Only with 100 health. They don't have their shields, they don't have anything, and only if their gun is still right there on the ground will they be able to pick up their gun. So that's very nice if you're in a clutch situation, your numbers down, you need to revive a teammate to create numbers even, or if you're even numbers and you just want to get a slight advantage in the round, it's a very nice ult just to be able to get a teammate back up, get numbers back up, and it just helps the team by basically, it just gives you an extra life, and it's very beneficial for all. So first we're going to be talking about split from the attacker side. We're going to go to the B bomb side first. So typically as Sage, when you're pushing, you're not going to be the first one pushing, you're going to have your teammates going first, but you're going to be coming right in behind. Then when you come in behind, your team should have already, in reality, most likely cleared heaven, or you should be able to like pop up and kill heaven. But every time my team gets control of B site, this is the wall you want to do. You want to throw it right on top of heaven. You just throw it right there, it blocks off all of heaven.
Barrier created.
And then that just is like, that's the biggest choke point on B site. So every single time I just look for heaven and I try to block it off with the wall. I'll take out a Q, I'll throw it towards the back because that's the most likely next spot they're going to be going. Then what I'll do is I'll normally come and just play in this corner. If they break the wall, you know they're up there. So normally as soon as the wall gets broken, as soon as that gets broken, I just toss the Q right up there and just freeze him. But yeah, so that's how I typically would play B site from the attacker's side. So now we're going to be talking about taking A site on split as Sage. So typically what I would do as a Sage and come up is your team will have, you should as a good team probably have 2 or 3 people pushing heaven and 2 or 3 people pushing below. It just depends where you want the extra person. But once you get through, typically before I place any walls, I just throw a Q right back, slowing orb right to the back, just slow everything down. Then I always come up here and place the heaven wall. Every single time. This one's a little fucked up as you can see, but if you jump up and get it closer, it works very well. It blocks off all of heaven, basically makes it so if they're gonna try to push heaven, they're gonna get blocked and they're gonna have to shoot through and you just know they're there. Or if they don't, it's only 2 places the enemies could come from, so you and your teammates can just lock down those 2 angles, and it's pretty easy. I typically come to play this corner and just watch our backs. Then I'll have a teammate sitting right here just watching into their spawn, and then we can just communicate. When he backs off, I'll peek up and just get the kill right there. So now we are going to go to the defender side of split, and basically every single time I play Sage on split is what I do is I'll take my wall out. I've already have it rotated, but so your wall will start either like this. Normally I do the right trigger, rotate it a little bit, pre-round, and then you place the wall right there. This way you just block off mid and they can't push up at all throughout the round. And if you really want, if you put it farther left, you can jump up on it right there with a little crouch jump, and you can just peek mid. But that's a little bold, so you can even do it right here with the crouch jump. You can peek mid, but it's a little bold. So typically I just block off mid. That just frustrates the enemy team a lot. Then I'll play like in heaven, waiting for them to push up, maybe get a little peek right here, see if anyone's boosted. But otherwise I'm playing heaven. I'm just basically listening for information mid, or my B player, if he tells me to rotate, I always save a Q orb. If he dies or it says they're pushing B, you can just always slowing orb that, and it just cuts off the entire push immediately. So that's one of the main reasons you're playing here Sage. Not even this wall. It's because you can turn and slowing orb B super quickly, and it just makes life very easy for your team to be able to rotate in time and come back and contest the site. But that's where I play every single round as Sage on defender side split. One boost you can use with Sage's wall that most people probably know about by now, but I'm still going to show you guys just to make sure we cover everything, is you come right here on top of this, and if you just put your wall vertical on top of this and boost up, you can see heaven right here. So if you have a scope gun, you can just easily pick off the person peeking heaven, or just get the info if there is someone there or not. But I don't always do this. It's kind of easy to pre-aim if you're playing heaven at one point. Also, like, the wall is just so important for post-plant situations, where I normally do this if my team's struggling to take sites in the first place and we can't even get to post-plant. But if I know my team's like capable of taking sites and getting bomb down, then I normally will save the wall for post-plant every time. But that's a cheeky little boost for split you can do over here on A site. Now we are moving on to attacker side of bind, and we're going to start with the A site. So typically when I'm taking A with Sage, I'll come bathrooms with one of my other teammates, with 3 teammates taking mid. I'll have someone, like maybe like a Phoenix, who can just come here and flash us out right away, get the first pick heaven or somewhere, always watch close right. But as we're pushing on the site, I take a Q out, I always will slow orb that back corner immediately. Then I'll push up, and the first thing I go to do, even if it's risking my life, is you just gotta put the wall up on heaven. Because that way, you just block off heaven. It takes a while to get up there, and then have to walk all the way back. So that's just a big place to block it off. And then I always will save my other Q just to re-throw back down here, because it will recut them off, because that's the only place they can go if they're trying to go heaven. So now I'll re-throw that down here while playing this corner right here. That's an easy sight hold while your teammates are watching mid and bathrooms. Now we are going to be moving over to the B side of bind. So most of the time I'll come with 3 teammates, with 2 of my teammates pushing up long. We'll have 3 teammates pushing hookah. We'll have a Phoenix or a Raze just be able to kind of either nade it or flash it out. And we push in, you're saving everything. As soon as you get a chance though, as soon as you push in here, you just gotta pop out and throw your Q right in the back right away to block off rotates quickly. Then you gotta get your teammates you gotta get your help, your teammates long helping you. But you can push out and you throw another Q right into the back halls if someone's pushed back there, gets stuck back there. Then, as soon as sight's clear, you push out on sight and immediately, even if you still have a teammate, 1 teammate, not really 2, you can block it with hookah, but you wall off hookah and it just literally disables everything. Because a lot of the times people will rotate either through mid or back through the teleporter and try to come hookah. And if you block off hookah, then you really only have to watch right here. And it just makes holding sight a lot easier. So typically I'll block that off and I'll come right here. Just sit in this corner waiting for one of them to push back into the halls. The only bad part about this spot is if someone's back there, they could easily bop you, but no, most of the time I have a teammate back there watching it. So that's just what you got to be aware of.
30
you could also
seconds
try
left.
this corner and just holding long. The long isn't as popular of a rotation spot when you're retaking B site. But that's how I play B site on attacker side of bind with Sage. Now we are moving to the defender side of bind, and as Sage, 95% of the games I'll be playing on A site. You either play mid or bathrooms. B site is sometimes you can go hookah if you want to try to go hookah if no other teammate wants to. It just kind of gets hard to control it because you can just get naded out and you just have the slowing orbs, which a lot of the times you'll try to throw it in hookah. You'll mess up the throw and you'll end up slowing yourself or just screwing yourself over. So I typically try to stay away from B. But on a typical round at A, if I'm watching mid, I'll wall this off. Just always wall off mid instantly. Then your teammates, you can just sit here and you listen. And then as soon as this wall cracks, you can make sure to be safer. Or you can just have 2 teammates then focus bathrooms, and then you'll be able to focus bathrooms. You cut off the teleporter rotation. Plus this way, if they're B, if they're trying to have one person like lurk back mid waiting for the teleporter to rotate, the wall will block it off and you and your teammates can rotate teleporter more quickly. So the alternate way you could play A site is on the defender side of bind is rather than going mid, if you want to get a little switch up, you have a Raze trying to use their ult down mid or something, you can come and take bathrooms control. What I do is I come up here to jump up here, then I get my wall, turn it vertically, make sure it's up on the boosted part, and then you come up here and it boosts up. And I typically come and I actually sit right here. Because what happens is a lot of the times the people coming bathrooms, they'll think you just messed up your wall, you're trying to use it on the lower part. So basically you can sit right here and people will just come funneling out. I'll show a clip after of it happening, but people will come funneling out and you can just sit here and you just have to have a little trigger discipline. You can just spray them all down. But a little variance of this is rather than sitting right here, if they know you're going to sit right here because you've done it before, you can come sit in the back corner, or you can just set the wall up and just have a teammate sitting right here, so as soon as someone calls out bathrooms, peek out, and they're just all dead. Very easy way to hold bathrooms and kind of just mess with the heads of the enemy team a little bit. Now we're moving on to the Haven attacker side. We're going to start with how I would typically play A side as Sage. So there is a boost right here with the wall you can use, but I'll show that in a little bit. But one boost that I'm going to show you here with Sage that is very useful on Haven is you come over towards A site, you come up here, you turn your wall vertically, and you just put it right on top of these boxes. If you get an Omen or a Jet teammate, they can jump right up here, and that boost will let them just pre-peek all along. We'll let them see the person peeking right here, and it's just kind of a little nice cheeky way to get a quick boost up there. I'll show a clip right now of me in game with Omen with my teammate being Sage, and I'll be Omen up there, and you'll be able to see like how much long you can truly see from up there. But pretty cool boost right here.
My ultimate is not ready.
Typically, I will actually not go long. I go short with one teammate while we send 3 long. I'll come up. You just gotta be careful peeking this. There always could be someone playing to the right. But you're trying to save your util. You get up here. First thing I always try to do is just pop up a slowing orb heaven. Just mess around with anyone heaven. Then I typically throw one to the back of sight. As your teammate gets bombed on, you can slowly kind of push up to this. And you just gotta get your wall every single time for post plant. just right there. You block off their spawn. The only way people can get over it is if you have like a Raze using her launch pad or a Jet using the jump. They can jump
Barrier
up and get
created.
over, but typically I'll place that and then I'll sneak over into this corner, so whenever they do that, I can just pop them, and I'll hear when they break the wall, so I'll know when to expect them to push. Otherwise, I can just be holding my crosshair on short. But that's how I play A site. Now we'll be moving on to the B site of Haven from attacker side, and typically what I will do is we'll have someone who can throw smokes. You get the smokes over on both sides. Sage, you come up. You just gotta get your Qs out to both sides of the outside doors real quick, so you can get bombed down right here, slow down any push that's coming from out there. Also, you'll just be able to hear if someone's playing close corners. Then, once I have at least 3 teammates pushed up, I will just wall off right behind us, because we'll have one teammate normally sit right here. So then as soon as the enemies who are coming behind see that wall, they never think anyone's gonna be sitting mid, so most of the time they can get caught off guard by someone sitting here. But every single time as soon as you can get bombed down and get control of inner sight, I place this wall behind, and then you can just hold inner sight with one of your teammates holding mid, because there's always gonna be one defender flanking you, and then you can just hold both side doors, and it's an easy hold. So now we're moving on to the C site of Haven. So typically my team will have like 3 players come out here and 2 will push up to double doors. So as soon as you can either get a little control, get some smokes down, you're pushing up. As soon as you get the first option to, I always just try to slowing orb the back right. Not like that because it gets stuck up there, but slowing orb the back of their spawn, just slow off the rotates. As soon as your teammates can push through C connector right here, I always wall off the connector. I feel like that's a pretty common place for people to push back. And then I'll come and I will come and play in this corner a lot of the time, and then you can use your slowing orb to slow it down. Slow it down again, you know, take your time. As soon as you get bombed down, you'll have one person watching your back. You guys don't even have to worry about this. You most likely will have 2 people watching back here. And it just is an easy hold. Now we will be moving on to the CT or defender side of Haven. Every single time I play Sage, I always come double doors. Not just because of this boost, but there is partially because of this boost. I always put this wall down 2 seconds before the round starts, so you can get up in time right before. You won't be able to see the T's, but they are able to like spawn right there. So as you can see there's a little hole right here, and you can just get some easy headshots on this boost. But you do have to be careful, because people will, after you do it once, people will figure out and they'll start to pre-aim it right off spawn. So you got to be careful how you pick and choose to use this. Either way though, every single round I do put this wall down so that the attackers think there's a chance I'm boosted. But a lot of the time we'll be playing either on this side of it, just like little jump peeks just to see if they're pushing or not. Sometimes I'll play on the other side. If it's an eco, I'll come in that corner right there, because with this wall they aren't going to think anyone's playing on the other side of it, trapping themselves in there on their side. So they get very caught off guard by that. But another main reason you play right here is because if your teammate calls out C, you can quickly rotate, just throw a slowing orb just to slow down the push. Somewhat like a B site on split when you're playing Heaven. You're just here as support for as soon as they call it out. You can just throw your slowing orbs down here and just slow down that push so your team can get a rotate, and you can still somewhat hold double doors after you do that. But that is how I play defender
30
side
seconds
on
left.
Haven.